Welcome everybody to the next episode of RWBY Hidden Gems. So I'll be going through chapters 7 through 10 in this video, mostly because chapters 7 through 9, not really a lot. There's a lot in chapter 10, and I'll get to that near the end. I'll probably put some annotations up here to kind of have like a table of contents, whatever, right there. To like 7, 8, 9, 10, that kind of thing. Chapter 8, I'm going to go ahead and say, doesn't have anything. Chapter 8 doesn't have a single hidden gem that I found. I might have overlooked something, but I tried really hard when Chapter 8 came out to look for something. I couldn't find anything. So I might have to revisit some of these episodes later on, once the show's concluded and more time to look through everything. I don't know. I'll have to go through and look. Sorry if my voice is really loud. I started to peak a little bit. Turn up a little bit. Okay, so first to chapter 7. The only thing that I found, or a couple of things that I found, really, was this fragile box that is upside down, that you can see in the preview. I'm doing this thing a little differently. I'm actually doing this in Sony Vegas, so I don't know, a little different editing styles, whatever. So that's pretty much all I found. There's this and a couple other things too, but well, 3 things total. 3 things, 3 gems. So there's this, the upside down fragile box. We have this scene with Adam and White Fang, and you can see behind him is the couple of bars of honey, or whatever sap or something like that, like in volume 1, part of the Jaundice arc, John arc, whatever, the couple episode arc with John. He threw honey at Carden, and all of a sudden a Ursa showed up and smelt the honey. So this is kind of like a, I don't know, this might be explaining how they're controlling Grimm, but at the same time, probably not. We'll have to wait and see on that, but I think it's a pretty funny little Easter egg thing. Alright, then next we have this scene, which, I don't know, it's not really a hidden gem, but I put this here just to kind of help explain to people what's happening here. So we know that Emerald has the illusion semblance, so she can control people's perception on certain things. She can create illusions. We saw that in this episode as well, with Amber. She can create a little girl on the bike that fell. But this scene, I wanted to explain a little more. Okay, so what's happening here is Emerald is using her semblance here to show the medical personnel that his leg is bleeding, and that's pretty much what's happening. Emerald is literally controlling 2 people here in this scene, and she mentions it later on in the ship, when she says controlling one mind is easy, but 2 is like a challenge or tough or something like that. I haven't seen the episode in a while, so I can't remember it like off the top of my mind, but it's something similar to that, you know, like 2 minds, or 1 mind I can handle, 2 is a stretch, I think is what she said. But yeah, so she literally made these personnel think that he's bleeding, so that's pretty much what's going on there. So I just wanted to clarify that if anyone was like unaware or whatever. And of course, nothing from chapter 8. And then we skip to chapter 9, which has, see how many? 1, 2, 3. Has 4 things, or 3 things, but there's a 4th I want to talk about at the very end. Okay, so first up we have this scene, which shows a bunch of Grimm preparing to fight. This is just after Penny was killed. So basically, what's happening? What I want to point out here is all the Grimm are like preparing for war, pretty much. But the one thing I wanted to point out, that somebody pointed out in my comments, was this guy up here. He's like I don't even know how big is that. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, possibly 10 stories tall. A Grim that's that big. Like he's bigger than the Goliath. And we haven't even seen what this Grim is. We just see the back of him, or like the shoulder, or something. We just see that. So it's kind of hard to tell what kind of Grim it is, what type of Grim it is. But yeah, just I forgot who told me about this. But I'll leave a annotation right here at the bottom to the person who helped me find that. It was a very cool find. I missed it when I first saw it, but they found it and told me about it. All right, and then next we have this, which is the leader of bronze. Or no, sorry, not the leader of bronze. Shoot, what's his name? 2 seconds before I look it up. Hold on. Not the leader of bronze. Roy. Roy? Yes, that's Roy. Roy Stallion. From Team Bronze. He's the guy with the saws on his hands so he can toss at people. So he's just kind of just chilling out there behind Weiss and Blake, drinking tea. So yeah, and then next up we have this scene, which is just after, or it's while Cinder's talking to the world, pretty much, and we see another Club Thug guy. So this is like I think the third appearance that we've seen from. Yeah, I think this is the third, in total for the whole series so far. Third appearance. I said the word, then I forgot it. Third appearance from the White Fang, or not White Fang, Jesus Christ, the Club Thug, in the stands. So it's pretty cool to see him back. Alright, and then the final thing from Chapter 9 that I wanted to point out was this scene here. Now, it could be hidden, but I don't know what it was hidden of. There's all these screens inside these warships and everything on all of the monitors. They're pretty much all the same monitor. But what I wanted to point out was that the transmission there behind the guy, it actually says something, and I don't know what it says. I don't know. It's pretty much, I think, gibberish, but I could be wrong. I mean, there's some words that I can sort of make out, like can, C-A-N, I think. I'm not sure. I know this is bad quality, but this is the best quality. I'm zooming in, basically. That's why it's bad quality. I'm assuming this has just like just background filler, just random words like smash the keyboard kind of thing. It could mean something. I don't know. Maybe you guys can figure it out what it means. I tried. I can't even distinguish half of what's even like I said, just a few words I can see, but I don't know. All right, and then that's all of chapter 9. Now to the meaty gritty bit of this episode, which is chapter 10, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, a bunch. Like full on like 20 gems or something like that. Alright, so we're starting off with the very start of chapter 10, and we see this guy in the background getting carried away by Grim, and I know it's behind Blake there. I just didn't cut it. This guy there. He's getting carried away by the Nevermores, but I don't know who he is. Somebody in the comments said it was Roy, but Roy has a green shirt. This guy has a brown kind of attire with brown boots on. So I don't know. We can probably figure it out later. I tried zooming in on him to see if I noticed anything. He's just like an art 2D image. He's not a 3D model. But yeah, maybe I can come back to this later and actually tell you who this is. I don't know. It might just be a background character. Right, and then next we have this, which this Ursa is very happy or wanting to get to this sushi bar or sushi tent or whatever you want to call it. So I thought that was pretty interesting to kind of point out. It's the only time we've seen a sushi sign in the fairgrounds, and this Ursa is just really, he wants it like pretty bad. So that's pretty funny. All right, the next we have this, which is those two medics that we talked about way back in chapter 7. Like, you know, those guys. So I believe these are the same people. The skin color matches with both of them. But anyways, they're pretty much just running behind Blake and Weiss, and they're getting chased by a Beowulf. That's pretty much what it is. they're just getting chased by a Beowulf. So it's interesting to see them in the background, and you see them a couple of times too in the background, just kind of running around. You also, I didn't put it in here too, but you also see a bunch of Atlas troopers running around too, but their guns are like on their back. They're not actually firing at stuff. They're just running with their guns on their back. So it's like it's sort of weird. All right, and then next we have this that I wanted to point out. It's the Nevermore fight with RWBY and all the students. Pretty much, I wanted to point this out because it's really cool. If you didn't see this in slow motion, it's pretty awesome. RWBY actually like slams in like at full speed into the Grim, and what I wanted to point out was the smoking. There's like smoke coming off of the blade, so it makes me wonder if the blade of a Penny is somehow like burning Grim, or if RWBY hit the Grim so hard that it's literally like burning with like friction or something. Yeah, I'll show this again so that way you can kind of see what's going on. And she slams into the Grim, and then it starts like smoking, you know, that whatever. And then he kind of gets taken back by it. Of course, he did get smacked so hard, but like I was saying with Remnant, it was like she was going like Mach 1 right into the Nevermore with Penny's sword, and then Nevermore gets pushed back and then kind of like recovers a little bit and shakes it off. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting thing. It's not really a hidden thing, of course, but I just wanted to point it out. And then of course this one's another thing that's not hidden, but it's badass. It's all of the students getting their weapons and everything. It's just a really cool scene. Like it's very, very well designed and like edited and everything. It's very, very cool. Another thing I wanted to point out was this scene here with this scene here with Yasuhashi and Sage. So when you watch this episode or this thing, some of you might remember this kind of animation. It's the same animation that I will show it to you again here, but it's the same animation that RWBY and Blake did against the robot. So we have this scene here, and then it's Blake and RWBY. So it's the same animation, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing whatsoever. I think it's a very, very cool thing that they're actually reusing some of the animations, because that animation is very, very cool and it actually worked. So it's a little different, of course, but it's so much similar that it's okay in my book. I don't see anything wrong with this whatsoever. You can see that Sage is wielding the sword just like RWBY kind of did in the same sense, but RWBY had both her hands, and then with Blake, she's sort of doing the same thing but different. But yeah, like I said, it's sort of, it's the same aspect, it's the same kind of thing, but it's different in a lot of ways. Yeah, so that was back in chapter 4 in volume 2, by the way, if you didn't miss that little thing right there. Also Blake, oh god. Okay, this scene is I wanted to note, This one, Ruby asked Sun for his scroll. He actually used his tail to get out of his pocket and then toss it to Ruby. So I slowed it down here so I can actually see it. He just tosses it with his tail. I thought that was really cool. Because we've seen him like use his tail for multiple things. Like he used it for the cup in Volume 2. And I think he used it for a couple other things too. I know he used it to hang on stuff, of course, like the tree and the light posts that we saw in Volume 1. But yeah, it's very cool to see that he's actually using his tail more often now. Alright, and then one last thing I wanted to point out. Not the one last thing, but the next thing I should say. Or no, this is the last thing I wanted to point out. No, there's more. Okay, anyways, this one, the CCT AI girl, as you see her again. So it seems like she's like an actual character. Like they're showing the progression, like her throughout the day kind of thing, like, or throughout the week. Like we saw her at the office, we saw her here in the stadium, and we saw her a couple of places too. But it's kind of funny that we only see one of her. That she's not like one of those clones that like get popped in like in every scene. We only see a couple of her throughout the show. So it's like kind of interesting that they specified her as like one of like a foreground character, or like a, you know, kind of background character, but at the same time, yeah. Yeah, so the next stuff are not gems, but there are a couple of gems inside in them that are kind of mixed in with it that I found. Basically, this scene was with Ironwood, and a lot of people kind of, well, I don't know, a couple of reactors missed it, but I don't think they really like watch a lot of RWBY stuff to even know the fan theories or whatever. But Ironwood has a metal arm, or a cyborg arm or something. That's why he wears the glove. And that's why he stopped the Grim with his hand, and then like flipped it, and then yeah. So that's the explanation there. It's not. This isn't a hidden gem at all. Well, the fact that his hand might be metal, it might be a hidden gem. But I don't know. The next thing is a hidden gem. This is straight up a hidden gem. If you guys watch X-Ray and Vav, I found this like straight up, like I was like looking through this and I saw this. It was really, really cool. This is the scene when Roman clicks the button to unleash the knights off the ships, or I think the battleship or other ships. I don't know what's happening really here, but he unlocks a bunch of knights. And if you zoom in on this one spot, you can see that it's the same suit from X-Men and Rev that Hilda uses with Orf. Orf morphs into like this Iron Man suit for Hilda. And they actually put it in the show, which is kind of funny. At first I was like, why is this guy like going like this, like falling? And I kind of zoomed in on it and I recognized it. So it's very, very cool. I like how they didn't add the blue. Because the blue is like a dead giveaway, and it would have not been as I don't know, hidden in that sense. Like this matches with the Knights, the Atlas Knights, the Elysium Knights. So this kind of style that they had here matches the Elysium Knight color scheme. So like I said, if they added the red and the blue like you see in that picture, it would have been a dead giveaway, and it would have been like everyone would be like, there it is, you know, kind of thing. Like this way, it's actually hidden. Another thing I wanted to point out: this isn't hidden, but sort of hidden. I don't know. Make your choice. So this is a scene where Ironwood's ship gets attacked by the knights. So listen here. So I wanted just to point that out real quick. Ironwood is not dead. Like everyone's, like some reactors are saying that he's dead, or hurt or something like that. Got attacked. He's fighting. Like he gets attacked here. The knights attack, and then you hear a bang, and then a bang again, and I'll play it again so you can hear it. So you hear the two bangs of that's his pistol that he has, or his I guess it's a pistol, his hand cannon, pretty much. It's really big pistol, but yeah. So he's using that in the ship, and I slowed it down here so that way I can see look at the flash in the window of the ship. So that's one bang, and then here in like 3 seconds, it'll be a second bang. So like he's fighting inside the ship, which is kind of cool. So yeah, just a little explanation that Iron was not dead. He's still fighting, but his ship did go down. He might be hurt afterwards, but he's definitely not dead. He's still fighting strong. All right, we have 2 more things. One thing is not hidden, and just noticing. Or yeah, these 2 things are not hidden. These 2 things over here. One thing here I wanted to note was we literally see dead people. We see a couple students in the bottom left, from I think Mistral. I totally forgot their what did they go? Their outfits. I don't remember their outfits off the top of my head, but I think that's Mistral. I could be wrong. A Mistral student, basically dead on the table, and then further along there's an Atlas student also dead near Adam, and then the Elysium Trooper, or the Atlas Trooper, whatever you want to call him, he assumed dead when Adam throws him. So I don't know, thought that I should point that out. I don't know why I had that little hiccup there. Anyways, the last thing I wanted to point out was this scene, and I'll let this play, and then I'll talk about it.
And do not miss what happens next.
Okay, so basically, Cinder knew that the dragon was going to come. Like, she full-on knew it was going to come, which is very, very surprising. Also, one other thing here is this mountain that it's coming out of, the Dragon Mountain, he's in Mountain Glen. If you look right here, that's Mountain Glen. That's the building that Team RWBY overlooked when they were in their mission in Volume 2, the field trip. I think not this building, but the building like this, they were sitting in, and then RWBY was overlooking a building similar to this. This is Mountain Glen, pretty much right here. All of this is Mountain Glen. But it's interesting to see that this dragon was inside this mountain, like almost the entire time, and no one knew about it. Well, of course, Cinder knew about it, but it came out of the mountain, and was going past Mountain Glen all the way to the stadium. So that's all I have for Chapter 10. There's probably a ton more that I'll have to probably revisit. I'll probably do like later on after the shows come to a conclusion. I'll do a Volume 3 in review for Hidden Gems, and I'll review some things that I've noticed past my initial Hidden Gems videos, and I'll revisit some gems that I missed and everything, and maybe you guys can help me out on that. If you guys found any hidden gems, I'll add them to the list. I'll give you credit, all that good stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you hopefully in Chapter 11 and 12 for more hidden gems. Hopefully 11 and 12 have hidden gems. Like I said, Chapter 8 had nothing. But like I said, I might have missed something. But this one Chapter 10 had a ton of hidden gems, so I'm glad about that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next video. See ya.